ンディ君人形？ああ、そりゃレナのツボだわな。
レナがサトコやリカちゃんをお持ち帰りしたくなるのはわかる。だがランディ君人形だけは理解できないぞ。あんなメガネ親父のどこがいいんだ。
そりゃあレナに直接聞けばいいじゃん。どうせだって可愛いんだもんしか言わないだろうけどさ。
I wonder if this is supposed to be like a play on Colonel Sanders or something, or if that's actually just like something that I don't know about Colonel Randy.
レナはよくあそこ工事現場のとこへ宝探しに行くのか？
ちょくちょく見に行くって言ってましたです。
しかし年頃の女の子がゴミあさりね。
レナが楽しいならいいんだと思いますです。
あそこはなんだよ。ダムの工事現場だったのか？
It had been bugging me since yesterday, like an itch I couldn't scratch.
何年か前に中止になっちゃったけどね。
みんなで力を合わせて戦いましたです。
Hearing an ominous word like fought come from Rika-chan's mouth startled me.
そうそう。何しろとんでもない話だったんだよ。ひなみ沢が丸ごとダム湖に沈むことに一方的になってさ。
So, I'm only able to be here because the protest succeeded.
ごめんねごめんね。待たせちゃったかな申し訳ありませんわねケイツさん。お化粧直しに時間をかけちゃいまして。
サトコ、便所には溜めてから行け。一気に出せて楽で早いぞ。
花も恥じらう乙女になんて口の利き方。
Who's she calling a maiden? If Satoko really was a maiden, she wouldn't have reacted like that. The usual hijinks ensued.
さてと、今日は快速に乗っ取り部員の諸君に是非を問いたい。彼前原圭一君を新たな部員として我らの部活動に加えたいのだがいかがだろうか。
Wait, what activities? Sounds a little formal for just something everyday and simple.
レナは意義なーし。
It's like he hasn't been already.
近隣風情が私の相手を務められるかしら。僕もサトコも賛成しますですよ。
Well, I'm glad that she can just speak for Satoko there. The three that Mion had queried voiced their approval.
全会一致おめでとう前原圭一君。君に栄えある我が部への入部試験を許可する。
Alright, I assume there would have to be clubs here, I guess. I mean, there probably aren't that many.
順を追って説明しろ。俺はまだ入るとは言ってないぞ。何の部活だ？
我が部はだな。複雑化する社会に対応するため活動ごとに提案されるさまざまな条件下、時には順境あるいは逆境からいかにして。
レナは弱いからいじめないでほしいな。仲良くやろうね。レナさんは甘えてますわ。弱い者は食い尽くされるのが世の常なのでございますわよ。
Man, she's really starting to sound like Lambda Delta. This was starting to sound a bit sketchy. So, what kind of club was it?
つまりみんなでゲームして遊ぶ部活なのです。
Ah. Rika-chan was the only one to answer my question with a pertinent response. So basically this club put Mion's hobby of collecting games to use by playing the various games that Mion had hoarded every day. It seemed that, depending on the day, there were prizes for the winner, or a penalty for the person who finished in last place.
先に断っとくけど、ままごと遊びみたいなレベルじゃないからね。一生いっぱいに命がかかってるくらい本気でかかった方がいいよ。
I wonder if that's actually literal, considering the game we're playing here.
楽しくやれればいいじゃないか。そう凄むなよ。
快速第一条、狙うのは1位のみ。遊びだからなんていういい加減なプレーは許さない。
快速第2条、そのためにはあらゆる努力をすることが義務付けられておりますのよ。
The way Satoko said it, it sounded like she was saying, use any means necessary.
もちろん僕も頑張りますです。レナも弱いけどね、精一杯頑張ってるの。
I knew what they were trying to say. In a game where everyone is aiming, or everybody is aiming for the top, it's rather unsportsmanlike to play just for fun.
よし、俺も本気でやってやるぜ!
I'm a little worried about this. I'm worried about the penalty from losing. I'm worried that it might actually be something a little weird that they're intentionally avoiding talking about. With that, I was ready for the rite of initiation, my baptism into the club. And we still don't even know if the games that they're playing are actually just like board games like Mion collects or something different.
ケイちゃんに一応忠告ね。
Like, the way that Reina is saying, like, I'm weak, kind of suggests to me that it's something that involves physical strength, but I don't know.
レナも結構えげつないからね。
That I can believe, though, honestly. She seemed a little too... I don't know. Well, we'll see. This initiation looks like it's going to be rough. Mion began fishing around in the student lockers in the back of the room. They have the games here at school. Well, it's club equipment, so I guess that's fine.
難しいゲームはケイちゃんだけに不利だからね。今日は誰にでもわかるゲームにしよう。スタンダードにトランプのジジ抜きはどう？
Okay, so it does seem that they're just playing regular, standard games.
よし、受けてやるぜ。
やっぱり罰ゲームがないと思えないよね。今回はビリに顔面落書きの刑。どう？
油性じゃないよね。油性じゃないよね。
I mean, so far, so normal. But we can't get too comfortable here. Permanent. She wants to draw on our faces with permanent marker.
上等でございますわ。
Satoko cheered the idea on. She didn't even flinch at the thought of such a severe penalty. It seemed like she was raring to go. If it's going to be like this, then I can't lose either.
じゃあカード切ってみんなに配るね。
Old Bachelor is pretty much the same as Old Maid, which I'm not familiar with. There's only one difference. There's no Joker. In its place, one card is pulled out at the start, meaning that there will be one card without a match left over at the end. You don't know which card will end up being the Joker. It's a pretty thrilling game.
じゃあ1枚抜くね。
Reina took out one card and left it face down on the table. Everybody stared at the card intently.
ま、終盤になればおのずとわかるし。最初はどうしようもないよな。
But the rest of them were very serious. They didn't seem as relaxed as I was. They compared their cards to the one face down, all while gauging each other's reactions. It was as if they could see what the face down card was. No, it couldn't be.
このトランプ結構傷物だろ。まさかみんなにはその傷でそこに伏せたカードが分かってる？
快速第2条ですわ。圭一さんも勝つために最善の努力をなさいませ。
Well, that's not fair at all.
いくつかのカードは特徴的だから圭一君にもすぐ覚えられるよ。
She said that so matter-of-factly.
上等だぜ。この程度でハンデになると思うなよ。
I lashed out angrily, but it was rather obvious I was at a disadvantage. After all, they'd gone so far as to memorize the wear and tear for each individual card. This wasn't a simple game of Old Bachelor. If this was a test, then they were playing with the answer sheet in front of them. Bring it. I'll take advantage of your carelessness and beat you at your own game. That baseless confidence would soon be crushed.
ケイちゃんの手札を右から言うぜ。3、4、9、ジャック、クイーン。
ちなみに、ジジはダイヤの J なのです。どうカードを入れ替えたって見え見えですわ。上がりですな。
I thought I was prepared, but for it to be this brutal, just overwhelming.
鬼だ。こいつらは鬼だ。レナは鬼じゃないよな。
ごめんね、ケイチ君。こっちがハートの3だよね。あがり。
Not even a hint of mercy. Reina, even Rika-chan. These club activities weren't to be trifled with. An alumnus of this club would definitely survive in the cruelest of situations. If our entire class had self-detonating collars strapped to their necks and were dropped into a deathmatch on a deserted island, these guys would probably take to it like fish to water. Oh my god, I hope that is not foreshadowing of all the things. I can already picture their joy as they hunt down each of their classmates.
ポイントは減点制ね。着順がそのままマイナス点。トータルで一番少ない人が優勝。
では、圭一はビリなので5です。
There's already a 5 marked down on my scoreboard.
やっぱりさ、綺麗なトランプでやらないと、圭一君に不公平だよ。
いいのいいの。ケイちゃんだって男だし。
That's not how it works.
これくらいの逆境は跳ね返せるよね。
貧民風情は逃げ帰って涙で枕を濡らすのがお似合いでございますことよ。
A petite hand laid itself on top of my head, which was trembling from uncontainable frustration. It was Rika-chan's.
ファイト、おーです。
Thanks to Rika-chan's words of encouragement, I was able to calm down. You need to be calm, especially when you're cornered. That's the power I could muster during this crisis. Think clearly, Keiichi Maibara. Take your time and look at the cards carefully. It's just as Reina said. Several of the cards have their own distinct markings, making them stand out. Memorizing them should be pretty simple. Think about what you can do in this situation. Try everything in your power to improve your chances of victory. I mean, I guess after the first game, we should be okay, but I don't know.
うわ、うまいよケイチくん、その調子。
I covered the uniquely marked cards with my hands or other cards, arranging them in such a way that they couldn't be seen. Yeah, basically how I always play card games is I usually just put my hand in a stack and just hold that stack just on the table, or cover the entire stack with my hand instead of holding them out folded, unless people get too upset about that.
角が割れているのは5だったはずです。上がりましたです。
I couldn't let any of those precious hints slip by me. Although, you can't trust them either, because they could be trying to screw you over. All information is a weapon. Then it was my turn. Satoko fanned out her cards for me.
欲しいのは7なんだが、これかな。
さてどうかしら。聞いてみないとわかりませんことよ。
There was a bit of dismay in her expression. Like she doesn't want it taken. That kind of expression. I won't let that momentary lapse slip by me.
見えた。これだ。
Got it. 7 of spades. A cheer of oh rang out.
なんですって7は一番わかりにくいはずですのに。
It wasn't from memorizing the markings. Those slight changes in their expressions as I was selecting a card were enough.
ほらケイちゃん隠さない。この傷が確かダイヤの2だったよね。あれ
She was startled by her own misread. Of course, everyone else was too.
おー、みーちゃんがカード間違えるなんて珍しいね。
違う。ケイちゃん、あんた、まさか。
They told them apart by different marks. That mark was a nail scratch. So I put a new one on it.
ダイヤの2を偽装したというですの？
This is some really interesting kind of like meta card game.
味な真似をするでございますわ。ケイチ、一矢報いましたです。
Clapping.
やったねケイチくん。大前線だよ。
Having defeated the forerunner Mion, my brilliant battle left me ecstatic. You know what? I have a feeling that we're going to end up winning against everyone except for Reina here, and then she's going to cause us to lose. That's just how the events were foreshadowed, so I have a feeling that that's going to be how it goes. But, by total points, it was already set in stone that Mion would win and I would finish last. I laughed haughtily, selecting the tone of my voice carefully to get on Mion's nerves.
まあビリは確定だけどさ。最後にミオンから1本取れたから大満足かな。
That should be the proverbial slap in the face to Mion, who was at the top already and ensured victory.
この回、仮にケイちゃんが1着になっても、トータルビリが確定するんだけど。
当たり前だ。
一騎打ちしようよ。ワンチャンス。勝てたらケイちゃん1位で私ビリの大逆転。なんてどう？乗るでしょ？
Well, that's convenient. No reason to say no to that. She fell for it. A chance for an upset that wouldn't be possible without goading her into it.
ワンチャンスだと？ルールを説明しろ。
Mion discarded 2 cards from her hand and replaced one with a joker card that was on the table, then shuffled the resulting hand behind her back.
右手のカードと左手のカード。 どっちがジョーカーか当てたらケイちゃんの勝ち。
今後ろに回した時ジョーカーを抜いたってことはないだろうな。
ケイちゃんが負けたら反対の手のカードも公開するよ。それなら OK でしょ。
The other three gulped nervously at this unexpected turn of events.
よし乗ってやる。
Mion grasped one card in each hand and thrust them out at me. First, I needed to inspect them closely. The card on the right had no distinguishing marks. I couldn't tell which one it was.
どっちだろう。ケイチ君、慎重にね。
ああもちろんだぜ。逆転の大チャンスだ。
Looking closely at the card on the left, I saw a little wear. It wasn't one I hadn't seen before.
あのカードは。
I didn't let that bit from Satoko slip by me. Mion clucked her tongue. I didn't recognize the mark on the left card from the small number that I had memorized. I didn't know what the left card was, but I could tell from Satoko's reaction that the card had already appeared during the game. Since it had already appeared before, it meant that it definitely wasn't the Joker. But I don't know. I feel like maybe she'll take a page from our book and add a new mark to it.
ケイちゃんは右のカードを疑ってる。じゃあ右にする？右？
The left card definitely wasn't the Joker. If I could trust that theory, then I should have been able to declare that the card to the right was the Joker. Even without Mion's taunting, the one on the right was the most suspicious. But wasn't it a bit too rash to decide based solely on Satoko's reaction? More carefully. Ah. I remember now. That mark, the left card, no doubt about it. The 7 of clubs.
きっとクローバーの7だね。
I've won. The card on the left was the 7 of clubs. I don't know. So that meant the card on the right was the Joker. And then, just before my hand touched the right card, I froze.
さすがミオンだよ。
There was a wave of murmurs amongst the onlookers at my sudden halt, right before I confirmed the right card was the Joker.
ケイチさんは何を言ってるのでございましょう。だって左。C です。
へえ。ケイちゃんはどうして右がジョーカーじゃないって確信できるの？
Mion let loose an unexpected question. Everyone else was baffled.
右のカードが何かは俺にもわからないさ。だが左のカードがクローバーの7だってことだけはわかる。
じゃあ残る右のカードがジョーカーなのじゃありませんこと？必ず左右どっちかがジョーカーという約束でしょ？
ああ、左右のどっちかにジョーカーがあるのは本当だろうな。
ケイチは勘がいいです。リカちゃん、それってどういう？
つまりさ、クローバーの7はさっき俺がサトコのスペードの7と合わせて捨てたカードなんだよ。
Everyone's attention snapped to the discard pile at the same time. The truth of the matter couldn't be discerned from that sloppy pile.
つまりミオンは捨て札を1枚拾って左のカードに重ねている。つまり
そうか、わかった。左のカードをクローバーの7に見せかけているんだね。
It was the first time since the start of the match that a shadow ran across Mion's expression, and I didn't let that slip by. Then, with a grand flourish, I declared it loudly.
ジョーカーは左手だ
It was an intense moment. That 1 second felt like an eternity for everyone there. Breaking that silence, the first one to speak was Mion.
初代部長として私も様々なプレイングを見てきたけど、ケイちゃん、あんたはベストだよ。ベストオブザベストオブザベスト。
She still seems confident. That was probably the greatest compliment Mion could give. Mion accepted her defeat, dropping the cards from both hands. My comeback victory. Rika-chan placed her hand on my head and began petting it, congratulating me on my victory. Reina and Satoko gaped at us, as if they had seen a ghost.
なんだよレナ、別に俺はインチキしてないだろ。先生堂々と。
リカは慰めるときにしか頭を撫でませんの。
Ah, so there's like some kind of double bluff going on here? Huh, what's the meaning of... At that moment, Reina let out a small shriek.
ケイチ君、こんなことって。
ケイちゃんならさ、ここまで読んでくれると思ってたよ。
So we're playing like 4-dimensional chess now, like... I only did that because I thought that you would do this, but I thought that you knew that I would do that, so then I thought that I knew that you would know that. Everyone froze. No, it was just me.
賭けだった。ケイちゃんがおてんばさんの早とちりだったなら、負けてたのは私だった。
It was the answer everyone was certain about. Mion picked up the card from the losing hand.
ケイちゃんはさ、この負けを誇っていいよ。
She turned it around. That was the card that proclaimed the victor of this duel. The card under the 7 of clubs. Unbelievable. It was the 2 of diamonds. It was a setup behind the setup. I mean, she was the only person to believe in us the entire time, so we should have seen this coming. That she would hedge her bets on us being right and us actually beating her. If I just picked the right one without reading so deeply into it.
部長、園崎美音の名において、前原圭一、あんたの我が部への入部を許可する。
As I slumped to my knees, dazed, everybody let out a round of applause for the excellent effort I gave despite my defeat.
これにて決着。本日の優勝は私、園崎美音。栄えあるビリは前原圭一。
I wonder, like, so far, Mion here is seeming like the smartest person of all these people. I wonder if she's gonna end up being like the evil mastermind type character that's like, I don't know, not necessarily behind everything, but like I feel like we're gonna have to work against that intelligence of hers at some point anyway. Everyone made a commotion, applauding cheerfully. I felt I was bested, but I was so soundly beaten that it unexpectedly felt rather refreshing.
みーちゃんが後ろ手で細工したとき、またやるんだって思ってドキドキしちゃった。ケイチさんが正解に触れる直前で止まったときにはかかったって思いましたわ。見事に引っかかってくれましたです。
Huh? Hey, wait. All of them knew from the start and still got so excited so earnestly. Yeah, it's like they were reading him perfectly and just feeding him the hints that he wanted to hear at that moment.
楽しくなるようにみんなで盛り上げましたですよ。
You.
お前らみんな鬼だー！人手だし
ケイちゃんに罰ゲームだね。今日は部活の初日だしね。ソフトに行こうかね。いきなり登校拒否になられちゃ困るし。
The other three members held down my arms and shoulders firmly. Mion approached, licking her lips. Her right hand went to pull something out of her pocket. That's a felt-tip marker, and it's a giant permanent one.
さて、行くよ。
She took the cap off the marker and brought it slowly up to my face while I was immobilized. I let out my death throes. Just something gives me like the feeling that we'll be hearing that again in a not so happy situation. As soon as the club activities were finished, Reina flew off. Probably so she could dig out that cute Colonel Randy that she wasn't able to take home yesterday. So today it was just Mion and me walking home together, a rather rare occurrence. Which is weird because I thought we promised to help her with that, but I guess we're not gonna do that.
宝の山か。捨ててる連中もまさかレナに感謝されてるとは夢にも思わないだろうね。
Mountain of treasure, meaning that damn construction site from before. Alright, Mion would probably tell me. That murder by dismemberment that seemed to have happened there.
あそこさ、ダムの工事現場。なんかあったんだろ？昔。
そりゃあったよ、戦いが。座り込みやったりデモをやったり。
It was a bit different from what I wanted to hear, but I decided I'd listen just the same.
自分たちの土地がダム湖に沈むんだもんな。俺だって戦うだろうな。
役人どもは本当に一方的だった。偉そうで威張ってた。金で解決できないと悟ると、あらゆる嫌がらせをしてきたんだよ。いやらしい奴らだった。
Mion spoke excitedly as if the whole thing was happening right in front of her.
よく勝てたな。相手は国だろ？
村長や村の有力者たちがね、方々に陳情した。東京にも行ったし、いろんな政治家に根回しもした。そうしてるうちに計画は撤回されたんだよ。私たちの完全勝利だった。
That doesn't sound anything like the story that we read in the paper in the tips. I guess the frustrating part about the tips is that Keiichi does not know them. Only we do.
暴力沙汰とかにはならなかったのか？傷害事件とか殺人。
なかった。
She promptly cut me off. Almost too promptly. The same as Reina had. Her words signaled the end of discussion. Tomitake-san said one arm wasn't found in the incident. I thought that a murder by dismemberment had occurred, but I guess I was wrong. No, they would not leave, like, giant tractors and, what do you call those, cranes there, if like, they wouldn't just leave those there if like, just the contract had expired or whatever. They would take those with them. Like, something happened there to make nobody want to go there. My curiosity My curiosity unsated, I sighed dejectedly inside.
じゃあね、また明日ね。ケイちゃんそれ、うちに帰るまで消しちゃダメだからね。
わかってるよ。消さねえよ。
Mion held back her laughter while stealing glances at my face. I wonder what kind of nasty doodles they drew. Damn you, Mion. You shall rue this day. Oh yeah, that's the worst part. You don't even know what they drew. And I guess nobody told you, or you didn't actually, like, go to the bathroom and look at a mirror. If our roles are ever reversed, I'm going to go all out. All over your face, so you won't be able to take it off, even with a scouring pad. Although I highly doubt that they would use the same penalty twice. Upon arriving home, I ran straight into my mom, embarrassing myself yet again. The mood I'd come home to was already on edge. It's not an uncommon thing in our family. Whenever Dad can't come up with a good idea, it always ends up like this. He stomps around the house with his arms crossed. Mom whispered into my ear,
おかえり、ケイチ。お父さん大変そうだからそっとしてあげてね。
またアイデアに詰まったわけ？
今回は締め切りが重なったからね。お父さん充電期間がないと大変だから。
Dad's paintings feed our entire family. If he runs out of ideas, then it's the end of the Maibaras. We've never gone hungry before. Could it be that my dad is a master painter?
家の中をうろうろしないで、表に散歩でも行った方がアイデアが出るんじゃねえの？
今回は生活空間がテーマだから、お父さんこの家をモチーフにしたいみたい。
That's quite a bothersome motif.
ケイチ、部屋の中を少しは片付けなさい。みっともないぞ。
ごめん。後で片付けるよ。
Ah, come on, please don't use my room as the motif.
ケイチ、お夕飯までまだ時間があるから、表でも散歩してらっしゃい。
Dad's moods are only temporary. As soon as he gets an idea, his mood improves and he starts humming. Until then, it wouldn't be a bad idea to just go take a walk so I don't aggravate him further.
じゃあそうするかな。
I said I was going to take a walk, but I didn't have any particular destination in mind. I just needed to kill some time. I got on my bike and pondered where to go. I could just go read at the bookstore, but it would take about an hour by bike to get to town. I'm going to assume that he washed his face already. It would be dark by the time I got back, so I didn't want to go unless I had to. The roads at night here in Hinamizawa creep me out. If Mion or Satoko ever found out about that. I smiled wryly. Oh yeah. Reina was probably still at the Mountain of Treasure, the dam construction site. The excavation of Colonel Randy was probably taking her a while. It wouldn't be so bad to have her owe me one. I mean, we did promise.
次の部活の時に恩返ししてもらえるかもしれないしな。
With a little bit of self-interest in mind, I set off toward the dam construction site. Tomitaki-san might be there as well. The only person with information about the incident that both Reina and Mion denied knowing anything about. And I mean it, like, taking off the paranoid, taking off all, like, paranoia. It's entirely possible that there was some incident and they just didn't know about it. Maybe things were kind of hush-hush about it. If I met him again, I'd like to ask for more details. To ask, was there really a dismemberment here in Hinamizawa? That was my real intention. I spotted Reyna struggling up on the slope of the garbage pile. It looked like Colonel Randy was lodged in there pretty firmly. It didn't look like Reyna would be able to excavate him by herself. Realizing that Tomitake-san wasn't around, I began climbing down the slope unsteadily.
ようレナ、精が出ますな。
ケイチくん、どうしたのこんなところへ。
Well, at least she seems to have forgotten our promise. A place like this, huh? I see. She was aware of it, at least.
事故発生の緊急通報を受け参上しました。負傷者はどこでありますか？
事故って、
ランディ君人形がゴミ山に生き埋めになっているとの通報でしたが。
なんだ、びっくりした。ケイチくん脅かさないでよ。
冗談だよ。レナが一人で困ってるだろうなって思ってさ、手伝いに。
レナのために。
Well, I filled my quota for today. If I don't see Reyna blush at least once a day, then I'm not getting my daily required nutritional intake.
冗談だよ。こっちまで恥ずかしくなるだろう。
冗談ってどこからだろう、どこからだろう。
I just ignored her bewilderment.
ほれ、どいたどいた。で、どこだよ、ランディ君は。
あ、ごめん。ほら、この隙間から見える？
こりゃ本当に生き埋めだな。
The Colonel Randy was sideways, surrounded by boards and other construction materials, like they were caging him inside. According to Reyna, it wasn't like this yesterday. It seems as though another illegal dumper came yesterday, dumped again, and now he's buried like this.
この山を一人でどけるつもりだったのか？その細い腕で。
There's no way she would be able to do that with her slender arms.
でも、ランディ君人形かいいだもん。お店のランディ君には鎖がついてるけど、これならお持ち帰りできる。
If Reyna gave up on this Colonel Randy, she'll probably start devising a plan to steal the one in front of the store. As Reyna's guardian, I won't allow her to sully her hands with crime. Hopefully she hasn't already.
どいてろよ、俺がやる。
Reyna blushed again, but this time I left it alone. The pile was enormous. Also, the more days we wasted, the more likely another illegal dumping would occur. If it got buried any deeper, there would be nothing that could be done.
ケイチ君、レナも手伝えるよ。手伝わせて。
帰って邪魔になるから下がってろって。よいしょー。
Pulling out scraps, bending them, tossing them aside, I quickly became covered in sweat and dust. Flying objects drew beautiful arcs across the twilight sky, one after another. Lumber, timber, plywood. Damn it. No matter how much I threw out, there was still more. Even though I could see Colonel Randy right there. After grandstanding like that in front of Reyna, I felt frantic because of how little I had progressed.
本気でやるなら、オノとかノコギリとかがいるかもしれねえな。
もういいよ、ケイチ君。すごい汗だよ。そんな無理しなくてもいいよ。
レナのためにやってるだけだ。気にするな。
Reyna began sputtering and turned beet red. I wonder if that reference to the axe or saw is kind of like referring to that first scene that we saw where he was using some kind of axe against something, And then we saw blood. I don't know. I'm still not sure chronologically when that took place, or if it took place. Ah, whoops. I meant to say I was trying my best so as to keep her from becoming a criminal. Oh well.
さすがに休憩。こいつは手強いぜ。
I sprawled on my back over the grassy slope.
ごめんね、ごめんね。すごい汗だく。
Reina patted her handkerchief against my forehead. It felt pretty nice.
あのさ、ちょっとここで休んでてね。私、家近いから、麦茶とか持ってきてあげるね。
Leaving the handkerchief on my forehead, Reina took off running. The cries of the Higurashi gently cooled the air. After I was certain that Reina was gone, I picked myself up and headed toward what I had discovered earlier. That was a garbage pile of magazines and newspapers bound up in a twine. Oh, there we go. So we're actually gonna get to read that, or have him read that newspaper. So we actually saw it a bit early. Unless I'm mistaken, I believe it was around here. There it was. They were bound stacks of not-so-reputable tabloids. They were stacked chronologically going back quite a few years. It was quite a disturbing incident. They still haven't found one of the arms. If it was just as Tomitake-san said, then undoubtedly there would be mention of the murder. These are troubled times. There's no end to these sickening incidents. There's a large part of society drawn in by these incidents as well. So it had to be recorded. Somewhere. I unfastened the packages and opened the rain-soaked pages carefully, looking over the table of contents. Kind of the way that Keiichi is acting here makes me a little bit suspicious of him, that there might be things about him that we don't know. Because, like, the way he just instantly, as soon as she's gone, starts kind of acting a bit duplicitous here. I don't know. It's a little unnerving. And the fact that he said that there are other incidents like this, like, it feels like his curiosity is piqued for some kind of reason, other than just being curious. Like he might have something to do with it, or something. I don't know. Not here. Next one. Not here. Next one. It was hard to search since I didn't know when it had happened. I didn't know who the perpetrator or the victim was, either. I only knew it had happened here. I looked up every so often, checking to see if Reina had come back or not. I wouldn't want her to see me gawking at a dirty magazine, but it wasn't just that. Both Reina and Mion said they didn't know. But it had happened, without a doubt. I mean, he's saying that, but... I mean, I guess Tomitake had no reason to lie. I don't know. As long as Tomitake-san wasn't lying. There we go. Yeah. Then if both Reina and Mion... Ah, yeah, there was. If they had just said that, then I wouldn't have gotten so hung up on it. An incident that neither Reina nor Mion wished to talk about. I mean, I'm glad that we have a protagonist here, though, that is actually getting nervous about the right things. Like, actually getting, like, curious about the things that are actually pretty weird. Trying to uncover it after they tried to conceal it out of good intentions. Well, we don't know that it was out of good intentions. That made me feel like I was acting against my friends. Oh, there we go. Hinamizawa dam worker lynching. Murder by dismemberment. Here it is. The featured article was in the back, and it seemed there was a photograph in the colored pages at the front. The pages of the featured article were stuck together and weren't easy to open. Reina could return at any moment. Feeling rushed, I gave up and opened the photograph page. The police investigators were carrying a body bag, and newspaper reporters were all bathing it in camera flashes. The image was blurry and hard to understand, but I could definitely make out the headlines. A tragic nightmare at the Hinamizawa construction site. Lynching and murder/dismemberment. The victim was the site foreman. He had assaulted his assailants daily with... an explosive backlash from his daily actions. It's a horrible image to see the site foreman as... It happened. It really did happen. It seemed the details were on the next page. I turned the page without pausing. On it was... The assailants butchered the victim's body with hatchets and pickaxes, then used an axe to split the cadaver into 6 pieces, the head, arms, legs, and torso. I could understand just from that headline that it was just too terrible an incident. Normally a lynching is just assault and murder, right? Dismemberment with hatchets and pickaxes? That wasn't a lynching. It was a merciless killing to the letter, a brutal murder, done by a group of people. With hatchets, with pickaxes, with a hatchet. Oh god, did she actually bring an axe? And then we thought that... Okay, I'm really unnerved about the fact that that CG that we just caught a glimpse of, it actually exists. Because I don't think that when we see it again, it's going to be in a very good context. But I feel like right here, she only brought it so that we could more easily get the doll. Reina dropped the hatchet she was holding onto the grass after being startled by my voice.
Keiichi-kunね、さっきほら、斧とかがあると便利だって言ったじゃない？それでね、レナ、物置からちゃんとナタ持ってきたんだよ。
Reina fluttered her arms in a panic, continuing to explain and apologize. It seemed I'd been glaring at her pretty intensely.
ごめん。ちょっとオーバーに驚きすぎたかな。
こっちこそごめんね。ごめんね。
Night was drawing close. I was pretty worn out, and it wouldn't hurt to do the rest tomorrow.
最後の針はそのナタじゃないと壊せそうにない。せっかく持ってきてくれたんだし、明日借りるよ。な。何しょんぼりしてるんだよ。明日にはランディ君が掘り出せるんだぜ。
そうだよね。
Oh, she probably noticed what we were looking at.
早くランディ君をお持ち帰りしたい。
We both knew that it was useless to apologize any more than that. I quenched my thirst with the barley tea Reina brought and wiped off the sweat that had now gone cold. We took the path to head home. I felt quite guilty about the tabloid wrapped up in my jacket. I mean, granted, it is just a tabloid. We can't necessarily trust it 100%, but I don't know, the details there seem pretty hard to just fake. I almost feel like maybe we should read the tips on, like, before we move on in the episode instead of at the end, because, like, some of the details from last time I didn't actually know. Oh, we actually got an achievement for that. One man's trash. Wonder what that is. Let me just check that real quick. Help Reina find her treasure. Huh. Anyway. But yeah, I don't know. I guess we've still got a ton of time, so we'll read those tips now. The Hinamizawa Dam Project. October 1975. In accordance with the Prime Minister's Bulletin No. X, Hinamizawa's Electrical Development Master Plan was announced. The vast scope of the projected Hinamizawa Dam was to have an incredibly heavy impact on the village of Hinamizawa. The area to be flooded by the Hinamizawa Dam would include the 5 areas of Hinamizawa: Takatsudo, Kyotsu, Matsumoto, and Yakochi. The submerged area would include 291 houses. Population 1,251. 1 elementary school, 1 middle school, 1 post office, 1 agricultural cooperative, 1 forestry department lumber yard, 5 shrines, 2 temples, and 1 fishery. All of those communal, cultural, agricultural areas and places of worship were to be indefinitely submerged at the bottom of the artificial lake basin. Forsaking the hundreds of years our ancestors poured their blood and sweat into this fertile, resource-rich land was just too painful to bear. All the residents having homes that were to be submerged banded together and created the Onikakushi Defense Alliance. The dam project was halted, and petitions to alter the plan were circulated. Citizens sought peaceful negotiations, but the government and its puppet company, Hamanoma, openly refused. Performing unspeakable, heinous acts, they quashed the democratic actions of the villagers. But the villagers did not falter. Instead, they banded together even more closely and steeled their resolve to protect their homes to the death. The continuation of that frightening Hinamizawa Dam construction project is still stalled as of today. The villagers understand that the stalling was caused by sublime power through unity, and they understand that this fearsome plan has not yet been fully withdrawn. The Onikakushi Defense Alliance had been dissolved after it did its part, but the feelings of unity it garnered have not yet been extinguished. As long as that passion resides in the hearts of the residents, they'll be able to confront whomever next decides to sink their homes into a lake basin. Onikakushi Defense Alliance Committee Chairman Kiichiro Kimiyoshi. I feel like those names are important. We should probably keep those in mind. Unfortunately, I don't remember the last names of all our main characters. It'd be nice if we could actually see like a big character spreadsheet like in Umineko that we could just refer back to at all times, but unfortunately they don't have that, so it's not a big deal. So let's read Special Tabloid Report. Nightmare befalls the Hinamizawa Dam. Lynching and murder/dismemberment. On the Xth day of X month in X prefecture of the Hinamizawa Dam construction worksite in Shishibone City, a bone-chillingly gruesome murder/dismemberment. Even though this case has shocked the archipelago, the police will give no details on the case. Exactly what happened at the Hinamizawa Dam? They probably didn't mean to kill him at first, but as the victim resisted by swinging around a shovel, the rest of the perpetrators armed themselves in return, and it quickly escalated to homicide. So said the aforementioned Investigator A. After this bloody tragedy was over, they were left with a body which nobody could have mistaken as alive. San had tormented the suspects daily with his roughly behavior, or his rough behavior. At first, it was meant to be payback. All the perpetrators were horrified by their deed, and one even turned himself in to the police. It was the de facto leader of his group, who suggested hiding the body. Reluctantly at first, they soon began to think they did not wish to be caught. The construction site had numerous places to hide the body with 6 people. They were originally supposed to hide the body and leave the area, but the de facto leader feared that the consciences of the other 5 wouldn't be able to bear the burden, and came up with a horrifying method to keep them from turning him in to the police. He devised the heinous method of splitting up the body among them and making each of them responsible for hiding a piece. X had turned a simple manslaughter into a gruesome dismemberment and forcibly involved each perpetrator in order to create a sense of unity between them. Each one participated. But what does this mean? Person A spoke out reluctantly. X had ordered each and every one of them to dissect a piece for themselves. They were hesitant at first, but nobody refused. In for a penny, in for a pound was what it meant. Thus, an unimaginable, bloody ceremony began. The perpetrators wept and vomited as they performed the gruesome task. There was one person who stubbornly refused, but X threatened them, saying nothing would change if someone else ended up dead, and he gave up in his objections. But X's plan collapsed in the span of one night. Triple X, who had refused to dissect the corpse up until the last moment, had broken down into tears at the hospital where he was being treated for an injury sustained during the scuffle, and confessed. The criminals were arrested one after the other, but the de facto leader, XX's whereabouts, are still unknown. Also, the right arm hidden by XX is yet to be found. Despite an ongoing search, this horrible individual has so far managed to elude law enforcement. Okay, so it sounds like they know the identity of this person, but their whereabouts are unknown. I wonder if maybe it's actually Keiichi, and maybe part of what he was doing at the beginning was burying his part of the body, although I don't know. What could the police be doing? It appears that XX had said he was going to throw the body, right arm, into the marsh. XX's car was discovered abandoned near the marsh, but there were no clues to his whereabouts. XX didn't trust his companions. Okay, I don't think it was him then. It's somebody with a car. Some adult male who had a car. So I don't think we can say that any of the characters that we know are involved, except potentially Tomitake, which there's always a chance that it could be him. XX didn't trust his companions. One cannot deny the possibility that he had expected his companions to confess to the police, and used his car as a decoy. Of course, I doubt that theory. Since he has no car, one would expect him to have a limited area to which he could have escaped to. But within the station, there were rumors going around that he had accidentally slipped and drowned in the marsh when he went to throw away the body. To the locals, that marsh is believed to be bottomless. It's known as Onikakushi, the Ogre's Abyss, and it's said that the bottom of the marsh is connected to the hellish world of demons. The atrocious demon from that hell was XX. I wonder if here's where we start getting into the supernatural stuff. Like, demons. I don't know. Granted, I don't think any of that supernatural stuff will actually be real. I'm gonna be in, like, full Umineko mode, probably, where I'm gonna be, like, doubting everything that happens. Assuming that, like, that there's a logical explanation for everything. But, that doesn't mean that they won't try. Could it be that he had returned to hell through the marsh? The Ch1 dragon, bringer of luck and fortune. Prosperous future. Ladies leaping into your arms. Wow, talk about like tonal whiplash from one story to the next. Business success. Promotions. Ambition. Protection from harm. Not just with pachinko and horse races, but business and even love. Guaranteed or your money back. Ch1 Dragon Bracelet, DX, one piece. 27,800 yen. Well, that's an interesting way to end that. You know, like, I kind of want, or I kind of usually shoot for my videos to be about, like, an hour and a half, but these episodes are basically hitting the hour mark and, just, like, being, like, the perfect time to stop every time, so I think we might just, keep things down to 1 hour per episode for Higurashi, and that'll be all. So this time, that'll be it. Until next time, take care, and I will see you then.